Hello everyone, this is Joseph from Talon Productions, and today we'll be looking at the ThreeZero Deluxe Scale Bumblebee movie Soundwave and Ravage. Not counting exclusives or repaints, this is ThreeZero's fourth entry in their deluxe scale line, after Blitzwing, Bumblebee, and Optimus Prime, which I already reviewed from the Bumblebee movie. Alright, starting off with the box here. As always with these figures, the box looks extremely cool. I love the art. You got DLX at the top, Transformers Bumblebee, DLX collectible figure, Transformers, Soundwave, and Ravage. ThreeZero logo down there, and the fact that it's a Transformers authentic product. Got the Decepticon logo on the side. I love this. I think this looks super cool. Soundwave, Ravage, ThreeZero logo. More Decepticon logo, Transformers. Down here you got that this is not a toy, so just remember that. Not a toy. And it's ages 15 and plus. Same thing on this side. And on the top it's more, Bumblebee movie, Soundwave and Ravage. So the box also features this part opening, which I don't have the plastic tray in there right now, of course. You got another cool pose, Soundwave on it, Ravage down there. It also clips back with magnets, so yeah, pretty cool. Alright, this is Soundwave straight out of the box, and obviously he looks absolutely fantastic. I am actually not the biggest fan of the Bumblebee movie Soundwave design. It's a little too G1 for my taste, but having this in hand has really helped me appreciate this design more. Still a bit blocky here and there and stuff like, the thick thighs and kind of the thick arms. I'm like, but he looks pretty cool, and this figure really captures that design well. Starting off with an accessory to help sort of complete the robot mode, you have this shoulder cannon, which is very G1 based, and you have this metal arm piece. This is a die-cast piece as well, which is awesome. And you got a spot right here where it's going to slide into. Then with Soundwave on his back, you got a spot here that you want to just put this into. And then just kind of straighten everything out with the joints. And there you go. Now, he also has a ton of hand options. As you can see right now, he has on the fists, which look great. Here we have slightly open hands. This is more of a relaxed hand. Here we have fully splayed out hands. We have weapon gripping hands for a gun that Soundwave comes with. Where it's got the trigger finger and everything. And last but not least, like with Optimus Prime, and only for the left hand, we have the command hand, which is pretty cool, or as I called it in my ThreeZero Optimus Prime review, the pleasure hand. Haha, bringing back that lame-ass joke. But yeah, and from what I can tell, especially with this one, all the hand options share a mold with Optimus Prime, probably due to the fact that the Bumblebee movie Soundwave design as a whole has a lot of the Optimus Prime model reused. So there's a lot of shared parts between the designs, and the figure actually has a lot of details and stuff that match up with the Optimus Prime, and obviously sharing hand molds is one of them. Alright, I'm going to show you how to switch out the hands using the right hand weapon gripping hand. So these work the exact same way as the Optimus Prime and can be almost as annoying. I find the Soundwave hands to be slightly easier, but they're still a little bit of a pain. But you just pop off. You see it's just got a ball joint here. Pop it on. There you go. Now he's got the weapon gripping hand. Here is his gun that he comes with, which is pretty cool. Which I feel like this area here, even though this is also on the top side, is kind of reminiscent of his G1 cannon, which is cool. But just slide it down in there. Make sure you got the trigger finger in the right spot. Good, there you go. See how it looks from that angle. There it goes. Yeah, it looks great, and he looks great with it. I usually have him pose with this gun, and usually with the fully splayed out hand. Here you go to sort of get an idea. This is usually more or less how I pose him. Usually I have the lights on, I have the legs bent a certain way too. Just for the basics, this is pretty much it. Now we'll also look at the light feature. He takes two LR44 batteries, also AG13. All you gotta do is press this centerpiece right here, and lights are on. Now let me move back my lights, and I think it looks great. The way you install these is pretty much the same. You pop off the top of the head and just insert the batteries and you're good. This one I find a bit more difficult to pop off than the other ones because it's got two pegs on the back that plug in the holes, and those really hold on. Alright, for the next bit and the other character that comes with this set, we have the foldable Ravage. Foldable in this case meaning transforming, even though he goes just from this, just kind of rectangle into the design in the movie. He also turned into that rectangle in the movie, so it's accurate. But this thing here is kind of new for licensed third-party figures, because usually there is a sort of no transforming or no conversion rule, and the fact that it's not much, and this itself is hardly a mode. It's just kind of cool that this is even a thing, since this kind of stuff usually doesn't happen, and as far as I know, it's the first of its kind. This looks cool, but obviously it's just a folded up Ravage. So to sort of get to how to transform it, you're going to kind of want to lift up right here, because there are tabs here. Fold this out, same on this side. Sort of do the same thing. Now this tabs in down here, so you want to bring it up and then out. Bring up the head and bring the tail up. Now you're probably going to want to move the tail up first, because some of the tail does go over the head. Bring the arms down, bring the head all the way up, then bring this back section up and pull this down, bring this all the way back, and then extend, bring these down, and then sort of get them bent a little bit. Then you got these bits here, which can be a slight pain. Oh, come on, okay. And fold up. And then there you have Ravage pretty much fully transformed. I don't think there's anything that I missed. Aside from, I know this can move up, but that's mostly for his accessories. So there we have Ravage, and he looks great. And for his accessories, we have some sort of a gun or maybe a missile launcher or something, I'm not really sure. Pegs in, two pegs here, two holes on top. There you have that. That looks pretty cool. And then you have two other ones, although they're the same accessory. You have the rockets for his thighs, and remember the way you put these on is to have this smaller little piece on the bottom, and they have a peg and hole there and there. Yeah, there you go, and looks great. Ravage here is cool. He's a little limited, I guess, because of the transforming thing. To be honest, I almost maybe would have preferred to not have the whole foldable thing with fitting into the chest if it could have had a little bit more articulation, because some of it is surprisingly limited, although still pretty good, all things considered. You got the head here, look up and down pretty much like that. It's got a joint here and a joint here. The only thing is he can't look left to right, which for me is kind of a big missed opportunity. Mouth opens up about that far and looks pretty good. Got a joint here, which can go mostly all the way around. There, that far forward, that far back. Foot, that far forward, that far back. Obviously the same on this side. This, yeah, be careful when moving this whole back end, because it tends to come undone. So you kind of have to watch out for that a little bit. But this can go pretty much all the way around. He does have an extra sort of joint that allows you to sort of swing the legs forward and back. That's not the regular joint. It's kind of hard to use though. It's a little tight. So for here, got that bends that far forward, that far back. This bends that far forward, that far back, and then the foot. And I mean, that's pretty well. The tail can move up and down. Yay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, a bit limited, but it's not too bad. For me, the only thing I really wish it would have had was a head tilt. Otherwise though, he looks great. Kind of like with Soundwave, I'm not the biggest fan of this Ravage. I feel like he looks a little too dog-like compared to cat-like. Sort of cat features are still in there. It's just, I don't know, he has something that's a bit more like maybe wolfish about him. I don't know, but he's still pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to show you the chest storing feature. So, open up Soundwave's chest, and there's no button or anything, you just kind of pop it open. And it has some pretty neat detail on the inside of it, which I find pretty cool. It looks like it's just kind of folded up paper, cardboard, I'm not really sure. But you see all that in there, and actually, and I'll show this off with the articulation, you can see a bit of it under here. So you got Ravage, and you just slide Ravage in there, bam. And I think having Ravage in there kind of adds a lot of neat little detail, especially with the Decepticon logo there behind it. Then, once again, just kind of pop it open. And he could be a little funny to try to get out. There's no real good way to kind of do it. As with all of ThreeZero's offerings, the paintwork and detail on these two is absolutely stunning. From the silver used on the edges to replicate battle damage, to the weathering that's used, and of course all of the detail, these are great representations of the CGI models that we see in the 2018 Bumblebee movie. Alright, now we'll take a look at the articulation. As with all of the other ThreeZero Deluxe scale figures, this guy's got a lot of articulation. It's really good. I feel like he might be the most flawed of the bunch, just because of the nature of the design itself. Just some of the parts getting in the way. Some things might not be quite as good as it could be, but it's still great regardless. Starting from the top down, the head is on a ball joint. You can look up about that far, down, look all the way around. Try not to hit the chin into stuff. The neck is also on a ball joint. The shoulder cannon has some movement. You can move it back that far, move it around, almost all the way around. You can't move it too far that way, obviously, because it's going to hit Soundwave in the head. For the shoulders, move all the way around. You can butterfly it forward this way, and to show, let's see, we do have a bit of that detail in there. Obviously, to kind of continue off of that. So it butterflies that far, can move it up this far, and you can move this piece and bring it up even farther, about that much on this side. And obviously the articulation on both sides of the body is the same. I just say that far because of this piece. He does have a double jointed elbow, so move it up that far, about right there, then comes up even farther on the joint in here. So got that there. Bicep swivel, move this out of the way, get it even. With the hands, they are on a ball joint, so you can move them pretty much all the way around. And be careful, because compared to Optimus Prime, who has the same sort of hand thing, I found that the ball joint connection is a bit loose. Not too much, but I feel like his hands fall off a bit easier than, like I said, Optimus Prime's or Bumblebee or Blitzwing's. And with the wrist, you can move it this far to this side, about that far. Let's see, there it goes, one to pop off. Yeah, obviously it's the same for this arm, so everything on that side is the same. Alright, so for the torso and the waist area, you get some side to side, not too much, just a little bit to kind of help poses out. And you do get an ab crunch, which does the very cool sort of spinal detail reveal. So, obviously, they get there. Looks super cool, I love that they keep doing that. Now, the waist area and everything to do with the thighs and whatnot is a bit more difficult to sort of get arranged, just because of these bits here. Because these bits here on a joint that can move around on its own, and then these are a double hinge to come up. So, if you want to really use the waist joint, best bet is to bring those up, and then you can turn it. Then the only thing is these pieces here, which also can move up and down, if I can get them, it still bumps into those. It also bumps into the piece that covers the stand hole, which sometimes if you turn it far enough, it'll knock that piece out of place. So he does have a waist joint. It can just be a bit difficult to use. Now with posing the thigh joints, you got these pieces on the sides here to move down. And honestly, I would recommend anything you want to pose with these joints in here, you should probably move those pieces at least a little bit out of the way to help. Leg goes up about that far. Now you got bits here bumping into each other, and it goes back. Let's see if we can get a bit more back about that far. Not too much, but you know, it is what it is. You also have a bar piece, very similar to Optimus Prime, that you can bring down like that. Comes down, I believe, only one click, so it gives you a little bit of extra range with stuff. Alright, with the knees, he does have a double knee joint, and it's got the very cool thing of stuff here moving with it. So what you want to do with the bend is bend it here, then you'll start to activate the second joint, which this will move along with it, and obviously this moves with the entire joint, but this kind of slides. Super cool, I love that. And last but not least, we have the feet. He does have ankle tilts, move it to this side about that far, and inward about that far. So it's a little limited in that way, and everything, but I'll show you what you can do to help give it some more range in a second. Move down about that far, and forward about that far. So you can get into some pretty cool sort of like stepping poses. Then to help with that, you got the toe can move as well. Then what you can do is, and this is also like Optimus, you can extend the foot, only you gotta be careful because it doesn't have like a stopper or anything, so it will come unplugged. But you can extend the foot to help with it just a bit. So overall, the articulation on this guy is pretty good, just some bits are a bit limited due to the nature of the design itself. Also, one thing I forgot to mention while we were covering is the pieces here with the red triangle and, you know, the white and whatnot. Those pieces have been prone to pop off from the ball joint itself. From what I've gathered, I had one, this one specifically, where from what I've gathered, they're supposed to be glued into the ball socket, but they're not. And I went ahead and glued mine, and this has not fallen off since. I haven't had that issue with this one, so I'm not sure if it's a case of one being glued and one not, or maybe that one just happens to be holding together better. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, on the whole, articulation is good and it's still keeping in with the ThreeZero stuff. It's just out of the 4 main ones they've done from the Bumblebee movie, he's probably the weakest of the bunch, but that in no way means that it's bad. Alright, and lastly here, we'll be showing off the stand. I'm not going to fully put it together just because I don't usually use the stands, they just go back in the box. So you have black as the base. This is pretty much the same design as all the other ones that come with the DLX figures. You got the ThreeZero logo here in blue along with Transformers Bumblebee. This would plug in this way, and then you would push this up to adjust this however you want. Thing here, push this down, extends, slide this out, put it where you want, put it back. Bam. The way you'd put this in is remove this right here, and then this would just plug in back here. It's pretty much the same as what you would do with the DLX Optimus Prime. Alright, time for some size comparisons. First up, we have his fellow Bumblebee movie Decepticon, Blitzwing, which Soundwave, especially at the head, is a little taller. Come on, Blitzwing. There you go. But yeah, Soundwave is a little taller at the head. Blitzwing has I think a little bit on him with the wing tips. I mean, by the head, he is taller and he's quite a lot bulkier. So, here's Blitzwing. Next up we have Optimus Prime, which it looks like by the head, Soundwave is ever so slightly taller, but like the case with Blitzwing, he's quite a lot bulkier. And last but not least, we have the star of the Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee. Overall, deluxe scale Soundwave and Ravage is another home run for ThreeZero. The only complaints that I have with this set are some articulation limitations on both figures. Otherwise, the paintwork and detail is gorgeous. The accuracy to the CGI models is fantastic, and the features and articulation that is there is great. While the set is more expensive than the usual deluxe scale offerings, I do think that it is quite worth it with what you get. So I'd recommend them if you have the money to spend on them. This is Joseph from Talon Productions. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you like my content, leave this video a like, and have a great day.